This is Kits and Wagers. I am Adam Zdroik, joined by Chris Owen. This is the first show of the 2024-25 season. Chris, welcome into the show. We got some different vibes going on, a little different. We're talking 6 games instead of 3 games we usually talk. So I hope you're ready for this. But Chris, how are you doing here?
I'm doing good, Adam. We're is this what is this, year 4 for us? Year 5?
Year
Year
4.
4. I went into my Google Drive this morning. We slight delay here with week 2. We were just running up against some vacations to start week 1. So great to be back. But yeah, it was fun to hop into the old Google Drive and start the new folder for all of the podcast notes. And I was like, wow, it's really been 4 years. So excited to be back. We are, we finished up close to, if maybe slightly below 500 last year, but we're retooled, new format. We're going to try to fire off a few more bets, be a little bit quicker. So looking forward to bringing it back to the listeners here. And last weekend I was absolutely locked in. I think I watched, almost every single game. And you can't watch 3 screens at once, but I certainly tried to do it. And this week I'll actually be out of town on Saturday morning, but Sunday morning, I'll be locked in here watching some more games. So I'm excited. Like I said, new format and looking for, we've always had an enjoyable back and forth, and I think we'll have some more good bets here this season.
A lot of winning bets coming up. I didn't give any bets out publicly. I was kind of in the middle of the woods last week, but I did put some down. I did win some, I did lose some, but that's just how it goes. But game week 2 here, we have one match in the books for some of these teams that we really haven't seen much of, specifically a team like Ipswich Town. We're not talking about that match, but some of these newly promoted teams, we're not watching grinding every championship match, especially the Ipswich Towns, who have a bunch of players that we haven't really seen before. But first game we have, Manchester United got the win in their first game. Now they're at Brighton. Actually, both these teams got wins in their first one. Brighton are home against Manchester United. The odds are pretty close here. They've been going a little bit back and forth, but Brighton's currently at home a small favorite, plus 150 to win. Manchester United plus 170 to win. The draw is plus 265. What are you thinking with this match? We still have no. Do you know how to say Højlund's first name? Premier League actually just released. It's actually Asmus.
Nice. That sounds like a booty-themed Christmas.
They released the Premier League released the pronunciation video yesterday, and that was one that surprised me a little more. He's just like Asmus Højlund. It's like, oh, the R is silent. I never would have thought. But what do you got in this match here?
Nice. I didn't know he's Norwegian, right? I think he's Norwegian. Or is he Danish?
He's Danish. Yeah, he just played in the Euros with Denmark. Yeah, that's right.
Good to know, Asmus. Interesting matchup here. Certainly a fun one. 2 teams that have kind of gone at it recently. You look at the most recent results here, and you've got Brighton. They've won 4 out of the last 5 Premier League meetings against Manchester United. I dare to say they probably haven't done that again in their history. So been pretty strong against them. However, you look back at and this includes 1 FA Cup match here, so take that for what it's worth. But which ended in penalties. But the away team has won 4 out of the past 5 matches with these 2 teams here. You mentioned a couple injury concerns there. It sounds like Asmus is out, and then you've got so it likely means that Xerxes will. I would think that he's going to start up top. He came off the bench in the last match, right, and then scored that late winner against Fulham last Friday. And then for Brighton, they have a few more injury concerns than United do. Evan Ferguson's questionable. Lamptey. I think that they might be missing like 3 starters here, which is debatable.
I'd say debatable. It's debatable if they're starters or not.
Yeah. So 2 starters, I'd say. March is a long-term issue, but he's for sure a starter when he's in the lineup.
I don't know if he is anymore.
Okay, new seat. Well, he's what have you done for me lately type of thing. So I feel that, but like when fit, he's been a pretty locked on starter for Brighton. But regardless, they're missing some guys. They're going to start James Milner in the midfield again. Some interest. I think is Hinchelwood. I'm not as familiar with his game, but he's starting again. It looks like here, and then it was Minta. I thought I saw him questionable earlier. Maybe they cleared up the.
He went off with the concussion sub in the opener, but he did not suffer a concussion, so he's good to go.
Okay, cool. Well, either way, I'm going a little bit against the grain here of Brighton's dominance in the past. I kind of like. I don't know why I feel this way about United, but I feel like early season kind of excitement around them. They made some decent purchases in the transfer market. Kobe Minu was impressive at Euros. He was again pretty solid on Friday. I kind of like some of their players, which is weird for me to say, but they brought Mazraoui in at right back, and he was strong. I think he's right. Yeah. Left back, maybe outside back. And so I like what they've done here. Ten Hag, they've played around with him all season, but all off season, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? He's staying evidently, and a good 1-0 result in the first game. So I actually like Manchester United money line here. You're getting really interesting odds at plus 170. So if this hits, should be a good day. But I think I like them here at plus 170.
Plus 170 for Manchester United. So you don't believe in Brighton after their 3-0 win at Everton last week?
I do. I mean, 31-year-old manager that they got out there. James Miller's got 6 years on him, I think. But yeah, no, I mean, they're top of the table. Like, impressive result, all by against an Everton side.
Is he older than you, Fabian Hertzler? Is he older than you?
We're gonna have to go down to the probably not, but.
Well, you said he was 31. He's 31. So
yeah,
1993, February 26th.
I got him by about a month.
Wow, you could be a Premier League manager right now if you really.
Hey, I got to turn my life
some effort.
Yeah,
put some effort into your life if you could be a Premier League manager.
There's still time for me to turn my life around, guys.
So no faith in the 31-year-old manager here. It's his home opener though, so. You told me you didn't really like this bet, but you're giving it out anyways. I'll say I don't want to bet. I don't ever want to bet Manchester United money line as long as Ten Hag's as long as Ten Hag's the manager. Though it kind of feels like a game where there could be goals where Manchester United kind of get Brighton's fullbacks and center backs on the counter, kind of a thing. You got Rashford. Bruno sending balls up to Rashford, Diallo, Garnacho, and those guys just cutting inside and ripping shots. And I think it could be a long day for the Brighton center backs. We'll see, but I think both teams could score here.
It's going to be a long day for James Miller against Kobe Minu. Like,
yeah, if he starts, we'll see if he's going to be an everyday starter. He's probably not going to be. Brighton are looking at Matt O'Reilly from Celtic. He's probably going to be the guy that comes in that takes the former Pascal Gross somewhat role. I guess Billy Gilmore role, who is looking to move elsewhere. But Milner's probably not going to be in there all season. We'll see if he starts another game, I guess is the question. Though it was surprising. He went like 82 minutes in the first game. Not sure how many times it's going to happen this season. Next game we got, I am talking about this Everton-Tottenham match. Tottenham are minus 245 to win. Everton are plus 600. Speaking of that Brighton-Everton match, Everton were at the other end of the Brighton game there. Draw is plus 400. The big news here, I think, on the Everton side is a bunch of injuries. Though Solanke is actually out. He picked up an ankle injury at some point in the opener. And funny enough, Solanke is already going to be out for more minutes with Tottenham after 2 game weeks than he missed all of last season with Bournemouth, which is a stat in itself. But Everton, they're not going to have basically their top 3 right backs. Nathan Patterson's out for some time. Seamus Coleman remains out. Ashley Young started at right back last game. He's suspended. So we're going to get a weird mix here in addition to Branthwaite being out. And then James Tarkowski also has a knock. So he actually isn't 100%. So we could have a very weird Everton back line, which I just don't think is very good news for this team in general. They lost Amadou Onana. Maybe that's not going to be the thing that, forces them to battle relegation the rest of the season. But when you don't have maybe three of your starting defenders, it's not going to be great going against Tottenham. I know they don't have Solanke, but they didn't have Solanke all of last season. They're just going to, probably Kulusevski's going to come into the 11. So I'm going with, I was just looking at, instead of some kind of, Tottenham corners or Tottenham, full-time money line, I'm just doing Tottenham halftime money line, Tottenham full-time money line. That's about even odds. You're at plus 105. I mean, you're comparing that with the minus 245 on the full-time money line. So the hope here is that Tottenham just get a goal in the first half. And I think that can happen. We'll see what this lineup looks like. Even if Tarkowski starts, we still got the possibility of Michael Keane and Mason Holgate starting on the back line for Everton. If not, their newcomer, Jake O'Brien, could be back there. But again, he hasn't played in the Premier League yet. So kind of an iffy situation here on Everton. So I'm just kind of leaning into those injuries a little bit in addition to Everton in general. And I also think we get kind of a bounce back for Tottenham. This is the home opener here. Postecoglou was kind of pissed at his squad after kind of giving away 3 points at Leicester City on Monday. So I'm going with the early goal for Tottenham, halftime, full-time, plus 105.
Nice. This is interesting. Like two teams that were, objectively disappointing in the first week of the season. Everton getting blown away by, as we mentioned, Brighton. And then Tottenham really should have ran away with that game against Leicester. They let them stick around, kind of missed some opportunities, and then Jamie Vardy returns, chugs a Red Bull at halftime, finds
That's your guy. That's your guy.
Same as it ever was, baby. Same as it ever was. But yeah, no, this is an interesting bet. I think full-time money line feels pretty safe. I like that bet, but we're really depending on Tottenham to get on the front foot here, and they just missed a lot of opportunities. It seemed like against Leicester to begin with. So if they can bury those, I think this is a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, really safe bet. And then Everton are going to score first off a random counter. Calvert-Lewin's just going to, I don't know, bang one in or something. We'll see. But I don't know. I'm pretty confident in Tottenham here. I think Postecoglou is a guy who, when he's pissed, you want to play for him kind of thing. And then he also got the home opener going on. So speaking of home openers, Aston Villa against Arsenal is the next match. Arsenal are still favored away from home. These odds have been kind of going up and down here. Reminder, rotowire.com/betting/soccer to check out kind of a breakdown of the odds from 4 different sports books. But Arsenal minus 130 to win. Aston Villa plus 340. The draw is plus 295. Not really any new injury things going on for either one of these teams. So going to be pretty similar squads to what we saw in the opener. Both teams got wins. Aston Villa maybe a little more difficult. They were at West Ham, but you think Aston Villa can reproduce what they did last season with a couple wins, or is this kind of maybe some Mikel Arteta revenge against Unai Emery, who I believe are both from, I don't know if it's San Sebastian, I want to say, both maybe from northern Spain, I believe is what it is. But what do you got here?
Yeah, really interesting. I mean, this is we were kind of disappointed, I guess, by the City Chelsea to start the season. I kind of expected more last Sunday. That was kind of disappointing. Chelsea are same as it ever was again. And then
do I need to pull that song up?
Yeah, we got to play that as the outro, I think. But this is a fun one. Like last season, you mentioned that our Aston Villa was really able to. They were impressive, not only against Arsenal, but against the top 6. They beat Arsenal twice last season, 1-0 in October and then 2-0 in March. Won and drew against City. They drew Liverpool twice. They drew and won against Chelsea and then drew and lost against United. So 5 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss against the other top 6 aside from themselves. And so pretty impressive overall. I like what they did in the transfer market so far this season. I mean, Onana seemed like a really quality value buy, and he proved it with that early goal on the corner last week. They've got some other pieces that they've added. We didn't really see Ian Maatsen last week, but they've done some nice things. They did sell David Luiz to Juventus in the offseason, but
Douglas, not Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, and not Doug. Yeah, not David Douglas. Yeah, good call out. But so I really like what they've done. They've built on last season. They were impressive all last season and deservedly made the top 4. Arsenal, they made a couple nice purchases as well, and it sounds like Mikel Merino is going to be coming in from Sociedad as well. If that's not official, it's pretty close. Calafiore, who wasn't, I wish he went to Liverpool. I'm kind of jealous that he went to Arsenal. But yeah, they both teams have made some smart purchases. I think that Aston Villa can build on what they did last season, and I ended up going with kind of I don't know. I took Aston Villa double chance at plus 105. I mentioned why they were so strong last year. Like, they didn't get any worse. Like, they picked up players. They did some smart business. They looked solid last week too. I think it was 2-0. And so, this is a game that I think that they can at least pull a point from. And so I'm all over this double chance at plus 105. Their money line was like plus 300, I think I saw, which seems, if you're really feeling, they did the double on Arsenal last season. So if you're really feeling kind of frosty, go for that one. But I think the double chance is quite a safe play here.
Another safe play here from Kits and Wagers, according to Chris Owen. Yeah, I think that's a good move. I mean, we saw Unai Emery kind of have some master classes against Arsenal last season. Wouldn't be surprised if it happened again. I have another bet in my betting article. Check out rotowire.com/soccer. On this match. I will not reveal it because you got to click on that article. Of course, I'm kind of with you overall. I think maybe Aston Villa are going to disappoint a little bit in league play as we get going into Champions League. I'm just not sure. I know they added a lot of nice pieces. I'm just not sure overall they're going to be ready for massive Champions League matches in the middle of the week kind of a thing. So I think eventually maybe they'll drop off. But yeah, home opener here. Had success against this team last season, so I can agree with that bet there. Next game we got Fulham are home against Leicester City, one of the newly promoted teams. Leicester City back in the Premier League. Fulham are minus 120 to win. Leicester City are plus 340. The draw is plus 270. Not a ton of injury things for these teams. Both are still kind of pretty heavy in the market here. Leicester City is adding a couple pieces. I mean, they did just add Oliver Skip as another defensive midfielder, but I believe they're about to grab Jordan Ayew from Crystal Palace, and Fulham just added Joachim Anderson from Crystal Palace as well. So both teams kind of, scraping the pile here from Crystal Palace. But overall, from the first game, Fulham played okay against Manchester United. Leicester City were pretty bad in the first half against Tottenham. Then they came out in the second half, and Vardy got that goal. Still overall on the season, I think eventually Steve Cooper, I think the season of the Premier League is kind of going to get to this team. We'll see if they add more pieces. Maybe, these recent signings will give them some needed depth, but I'm still kind of worried about what their attack looks like. Are they going to really have to rely on, their signings are, they got Buonanotte on loan from Brighton, and they added and they're going to add Jordan Ayew. Is that really going to be it here for a team trying to stay above relegation? Unless, how many minutes do we think Jamie Vardy is going to play? I know they got Mabadidi coming off the bench as well. Probably an option to eventually start. Otherwise, they haven't really signed any massive players. Fulham, they added, who am I forgetting here? They added someone in their midfield. Sander Berg from Burnley. So that's the guy who's going to take João Paulinho's spot, but he's not going to start in this match. I don't think he's actually going to be available. So that's going to my bet here. Long-winded way of going to my bet. I think it's going to be kind of an open game because I don't think that Fulham's midfield can fully control things, even though Leicester are Leicester here away from home. I think both teams are going to get corners. I was looking at Leicester over 4.5 corners. Leicester raised to 5, but I think this one's a little safer. I think both teams can get corners. If you want to go like both teams, maybe something like Fulham double chance, both teams over 3.5 corners, both teams over 4.5. If you were really crazy, you could probably get up to, I haven't done that myself, but you could probably get up to plus 200 odds if you do that. I just think it's going to be a pretty open match here. Fulham at home in their opener, not completely sold on this midfield. Andreas Pereira was dropping deeper in that opener next to Sasa Lukic without Paulinho in there. I just think there's going to be corners in this one. So Fulham, Leicester, over 10.5 corners is just sitting at minus 110 odds. How do you feel about this game, Chris?
Yeah, I like the bet here. The Fulham United game was 15 corners total last week, and then Fulham United, and then Leicester Tottenham was 15 as well. So interesting bet. Yeah, this is a can Marco Silva continue to just keep what Fulham's had the last season, keep that going. And then Leicester pulling a big early point out of that Tottenham match was nice. I feel like this one might have a draw kind of written all over it, but I don't feel as strongly about it.
Yeah, it feels like maybe Fulham will get out to a lead, get an early goal, and I just don't know if they're stable enough to hold on. Though we'll see what Leicester actually look like away from home. Felt a little bit like Monday night under the lights. They got some help from their fans in that second half against Tottenham. Next game, we are talking about Chris. Liverpool home opener minus 425 against Brentford, who are plus 900. The draw is plus 600. Ivan Toney is probably the biggest news coming in this game. Didn't play in the opener, still hasn't signed anywhere. There's still talks going on. I don't know how many. It seems like the buzz has kind of died off a little bit on Ivan Toney in terms of just teams kind of looking at him. I don't know if the gambling buzz kind of has killed his buzz a little bit. Just the gambling, him being out for so long. He didn't look awesome in the final few months of last season, so maybe that's there. So he wasn't available in the opener. I don't know if he's going to play in this game. Thomas Frank mentioned that he could play and he could not play, which is the correct answer. But Chris, Liverpool at home.
That's the two options we have.
Yeah, those are the two options.
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, Brentford is, they're a tricky side, they're quality, but I think Liverpool settle in here after. I mean, Ipswich kind of did, in fact, give them an early scare in the first half of that game last week. Ipswich looked tough. They had them in really difficult situations. They turned it around at halftime and kind of cruised in the second half. Brentford, you mentioned Toney. We weren't this was not so far off from when there was rumors of Toney going to Arsenal for £100 million. We're not that far off from that. I mean, that was a year and a half ago probably. And then, everything really changed. And now it's is he going to go to Saudi Arabia for £50 million? So it's been a precipitous fall. I still really like Ivan Toney. I think, as far as EPL strikers go, he's probably top 6, top 10 for sure. Top 6 might be a bit strong, but so missing him hurts their attack. But I mean, Mbeumo and Vissa are pretty solid. And so I think I looked at both teams to score here, and the odds they're surprisingly high. The over, you got to go to 3.5 to get any value, which seems like a lot. And then so I actually doubled down here. Liverpool at home. I think Slot gets his first win at Anfield. And then I do think that Brentford will probably likely find the back of the net here. Liverpool always susceptible. I mean, we're one game into the Slot era, so I think that for what it was. But under Klopp, they were always susceptible to an early goal. And so I like both teams to score here. Add that a little Liverpool money line, and you are getting
plus 115. Yeah, so Arne Slot, home opener. Do you think that has any effect on these players? You think they come out just amped up because Slot's opener?
I mean, I think they're we got to go out and do a job. I don't think they're yes, slot in Anfield. I'm so excited. But all that said, yeah, they haven't brought anybody in this summer. They sold off some younger players. Joe Gomez might leave. They're pretty well decided on the team here. It feels like there's not a ton of competition. Maybe the competition comes from the younger guys, and so there's not somebody who's been brought in to up the level. That said, they do have some quality players, but yeah, I don't think Slot being at home for the first time is going to play a role in this. I think it should be a good game and probably pretty back and forth.
What are your thoughts on Gravenberch here? It seems like he's going to be more of the guy in the central midfield instead of Endo, who kind of took that spot last season under Klopp.
Yeah, I mean the expectation between the two managers as Klopp was like, can you play that like Fabinho destroyer type of like really kind of six where you're winning headers, you're winning duels, you're making tackles versus a lot of asking some of that from Gravenberch, but Gravenberch is just way better with the ball at his feet. He can, I think, when they initially looked at him, and he's kind of been, this is his third club, and I mean he was at Liverpool last season, but then he was at Bayern and was at Ajax before. And so he's kind of been all over, but like his like profile breaks down to like a ball carrier. So like getting those balls in from whether it's Van Dijk or Konate or Kwanzaa, and then kind of advancing it, whether that's with the pass or cutting through the midfield. That's his profile a bit more. Whereas Endo's like, all right, I'm going to just get in the dirt and make it difficult for your attack, and maybe not as good of a passer and or ball carrier. So dribbler. But yeah, so he shined. I thought he was one of the standout performers in the first match. And if he can continue that, he'll likely keep this place in his side. And plus,
you think that's better? You think that's better for like getting clean sheets?
Definitely, yeah. I do think it. I've been thinking this, like the change in style of play is should. I mean, in theory, should make it easier for clean sheets because like Liverpool under Klopp are high press, advance the ball quickly, and they like basically like they're pushing their attackers up all the time. Like they had possession over weaker sides, but they were less maybe focused on it. And so I think under Slot, so far what we've seen in preseason and in this first game is that like we're going to possess the ball a lot more. They're going to try to play it around. Like I thought it was really interesting how they used Allison and the central defenders in week one, where they were like playing very tight in that 18-yard box. Like, it's three guys probably just within that box, and then trying to play out of the back a lot, which, a little dangerous, but then you pull that team up, and then you're able to kind of cut through them when they've pulled so far up the pitch. But yeah, I do think it'll be more beneficial for the defense, like Van Dijk and those guys, but it's we'll obviously have to evaluate at the end of the season whether that was better for clean sheets or not.
Well, you already got both teams to score in here, so I was just I was just diving into the bet here. I think Brentford are usually, actually, now that I think about it, I do have a bet in my article for this match. The last three matches have been combined 7-0, I think, at Anfield, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe the Bees will get one here. Maybe the Bees will get one.
Are you going Liverpool? Well, I guess we'll wait to see what's in the article. But Liverpool to win in a clean sheet sounds like maybe where we're trending.
What I picked, I can't even remember. No, I didn't have that. I looked at the total, actually. I got a few bets on the total in my article. I think some of the odds are kind of juiced still. So went to that route. But we got one more match we're talking about. So we're each doing 3 matches, the final one here. Wolverhampton are home against Chelsea. Wolverhampton plus 340 to win. Chelsea minus 130. The draw is plus 300. Nothing really new here, although Chelsea, if you've been on Twitter, you know what's going on with Chelsea. Well, they just played on Thursday, but so many things happening in the Chelsea world. Cole Palmer picked up some kind of knock on Thursday. I think it was hamstring related, but got all these coaches' decisions, all these guys out. It's a situation, is what I'll say. It's a situation going on at Chelsea. They lost in their opener 2-0. I'm not sure how much you can take away from that against Manchester City. Wolverhampton also lost. Wolverhampton, they lost Pedro Neto. I don't think Pedro Neto is going to start here, depending on what happens with Cole Palmer. But Wolves are one of these teams that, mid-table, maybe bottom table, losing some players. They added Jordan Strand Larson. I'm not sure if he's going to be the answer. They got a young guy, Rodrigo Gomez, in there. Some new faces, and we'll see how the season plays out. They also lost one of their center backs, so their defense looks a little different as well. Nelson Semedo remains suspended. But my bet here, I'm still not sold on what we have from this Chelsea side. I think eventually they'll maybe get it going, but for now, home opener. I'm always big on home openers first off, so I'm just going Wolves. Wolverhampton double chance here. You're still getting plus odds. You can get plus 105 on a Wolverhampton double chance. So this is kind of just going against Chelsea a little bit. I mentioned Wolves somewhat, but we'll see how this Wolves season plays out. Maybe they're going to add another piece in the next week, kind of a thing. I don't know. It seems like something's missing in this squad. Maybe it's just in my head a little bit here, but they lost some key pieces. So I wonder if that's going to eventually get to them. Not yet, though. Maybe not yet. So Wolves double chance plus 105. What are your thoughts on Wolverhampton here after they played against Arsenal at Arsenal in the opener, so you can't really take too much away from that game.
No, yeah, tough to be like, advance that narrative from that game to this game where Chelsea's was, they are Chelsea. They were pretty disappointing against City, I thought, overall. Nicholas Jackson, like if he had an end product, he would be a really good player, but he just doesn't seem to have really an end product. Wolves, past 3 matchups, they've beaten Chelsea here last season 4-2 and 2-1, and then the season before 1-0, and then Chelsea took the other one. So they have been taking it to Chelsea in the league as of late, and certainly makes this one interesting. If Chelsea get off to 0 points through 2 games, that could be that could be really tough for Maresca.
A Wolverhampton win, I'd take that, but yeah, that'd be
of course.
That'd be interesting.
Got the shirt on. Big Wolves guy.
Big Wolves guy over here. So I had to take, first show of the season, got to take double chance here. Getting plus odds. Not going full money line, though. Looking at the full odds here, you can check this out, rotowire.com/soccer. You got all the cheat sheets. Chelsea are the 4th biggest favorite currently on the cheat sheet over at Wolverhampton. But Chris, the new season has begun. Tell the people what's in store for the upcoming season.
Upcoming season, City probably win the title again. Arsenal second. I think. I think Liverpool are 4th. I think they see some adversity under Slot. Maybe a nice little run in Europe, or a cup match, and then I don't know that next your Champions League spot. I think it goes to United. I think they've made a couple decent additions, and they're showing the faith in Erik ten Hag, and so I'm intrigued by that. But I think it's going to be really hard for Villa to keep the same level as last season, especially as they add Champions League matches. Just a different. We've seen it time and time again when teams come in. Newcastle, for instance, last season when they come in and they add these very high intensity matches midweek between also very intense matches on the weekend. It's hard to keep that up.
Who do you think gets 3rd if Liverpool doesn't get 3rd?
I think United, honestly. A little weird. I don't, as Adam raises his eyebrows. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like saying that. I hate saying it, but tough for a new manager to come in under the shadow of Klopp and carry the team to anything more than what they got last season. Maybe it would be a dream scenario for the club, but I just think the idea of it is difficult to actually put into function.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I came out with I tried to project the entire league. I do have Liverpool 3rd. 4th, I put Chelsea, even though I kind of bashed them for a little bit. But Manchester United, if you like them to finish top 4, they were plus 200 to finish top 4 2 weeks ago. I don't know what this current numbers look like, but I didn't do too many crazy things in this article. I did have Aston Villa finishing 8th, which maybe some people may call crazy there. But that article is still up over at rotowire.com/soccer. Chris, first show of the season, many more to come. There's going to be, I'm smoking, you're a big smoking birds guy.
You smoking a bird? Is a bird
not smoking a bird. We're going to have some pulled pork later. Put it on midnight last night. Got a nice little 10-pounder. That's been going, sir. So that's been going for a little about 12, 13 hours now. So that's what we got going tonight. I know you're a big Smoking Birds guy, so I had to
I'm
bring the
smoking
Smoking
heavy.
Pigs. Smoking Pigs is going on here. So,
Oink oink.
but that's game week 2. 4 kits and wagers for your best bets, Chris. Thanks for joining me as usual. We'll see everyone in the coming weeks and months of the Premier League season for 2024-2025. You can find Chris at CHROwen8 on Twitter. I am at RotoZdroik. Thank you for listening, and we'll see everyone. We'll see everyone in the future. Good luck to your bets, Chris, and let's win some money.
Thanks, Adam.